This is it. Today we're making butternut squash soup with a little spice. Come on, let's get started.
Todo queda sabroso.
As we're in the fall months, butternut squash and other pumpkins are a great versatile vegetable to be used in soups, as a roasted vegetable, as a filling for like ravioli. But today we're making a chipotle spice butternut squash soup and it's going to be delicious. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to roast this butternut squash. I like to roast it because it brings out the natural sweetness in the butternut and you get that caramelization, which adds depth of flavor. What I want to do here is just trim off the end, cutting into it. I want to split right down the center. Ooh. Just like that. Look at that beauty. And then with a spoon, I'm just going to spoon out that center with all the seeds. Okay, so I have my butternut squash on a sheet tray. And what I like to do is just drizzle that butternut squash with that olive oil, some freshly cracked black pepper, and I'm going to be adding some brown sugar. That brown sugar is going to help the caramelization of the butternut squash. And then we're going to place this in a 425-degree oven for about 40 minutes. Okay, so here we have our butternut squash, and as you can see, it is nice and soft and caramelized. Now we're just going to remove the meat and then prepare the soup. Okay, now we're going to toast some spices and some nuts. I have here pumpkin seeds and sesame seeds, as well as the spices. I have coriander seed, cumin seed, and some cinnamon sticks. And I'm just gonna put those ingredients in a dry pan and I'm going to toast it until it's nice and nutty and aromatic. I like using Mexican cinnamon here because it's dry and brittle and it's easy to grind. Okay, so now we're going to place this in a spice grinder, or you can use a blender till it's nice and ground. Okay, so here I have a blender, my Vitamix, and I'm going to place the butternut squash inside that blender. To that, I'm going to add the ground nuts and spices that we did earlier. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, cracked black pepper, and then for the heat, we're using La Morena chipotle peppers. Now I have about 5 pounds of that butternut squash, so I'm going to add 2 of these chipotle peppers, along with some of the adobo. Okay, then I'm going to add some vegetable stock. I'm going to add about 2 cups for now. I'm going to place the top and then blend. In the same pan where we toasted the spices, we're adding some olive oil and some diced onions and garlic. To that, we're adding Loisa's Sofrito Rojo. This is a new line in their sofrito. Once that flavor base has sauteed for about 5 minutes, we're going to add that butternut squash puree. Depending on how thick you want your soup is how much vegetable stock you would want to add to thin it out. Okay, a couple more things we're going to add. Some heavy cream, just to give it that lusciousness. Is that a word? Lusciousness? And also some honey. I love honey and chipotle together. Mix that around. And then I'm just adding a bunch of thyme. I just tied it with a little piece of string. That way I could just pull it out when it's done its job. Now I'm going to allow this to simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes, just to allow all those flavors, the spices, the nuts, the chipotle pepper, to infuse with that butternut squash and make everything harmonious. Okay, so here we have our soup, spice butternut squash soup. And what I like to do as a garnish, just a little drizzle of that honey, a little drizzle of Mexican crema, some pumpkin seeds, and a little cilantro. All right, let's give it a taste. Oh my God.